Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to your Rangers News Bulletin this Tuesday, the 29th of April. I hope you're all enjoying your afternoon, whatever you are doing. Lots of Rangers news doing the rounds. Before we get stuck into that, a quick word for our podcast sponsors, as ever, S1 Jobs. If you're looking to hand in your transfer request, head over to S1 Jobs and upload your CV today. With thousands of jobs across Glasgow, Edinburgh, and the surrounding areas, you'll find the one at S1 Jobs. Right, where shall we start? Let's start with the upcoming Old Firm fixture, the final game against Celtic this season at Ibrox on Sunday, and the match officials have been confirmed. Deep breath, folks, because I'm not entirely sure that everyone is going to be too enamoured by this, but Nick Walsh will be the man in the middle on Sunday. He will be the referee, assisted by Frank Connor and Dougie Potter, who will be running the lines, the two linesmen, with Andrew Dallas on VAR duty. So, Nick Walsh will be the guy in the middle for the game. Listen, I think the Scottish match officials aren't the greatest, and that's being kind. Let's just hope we're not talking about even more contentious decisions after the game. It's a big game, of course, in one sense, a dead rubber in many others, but any match against Celtic, you're wanting to win that game. It will be quite something if Rangers do win. Then they'll have beaten Celtic 3 times in the league, yet are so far behind in the title race. Would be basically tells you where the Rangers' problems lie this season and what needs to be switched next term. The matches against Celtic have generally taken care of themselves. That game earlier on in the campaign at Parkhead was a disaster. But the game at Ibrox at the turn of the year, Rangers were dominant, deserved to win. And then at Parkhead, won that game after a long time, winning over across the city. So, let's hope that they can win again on Sunday. Moving on to other news. And interestingly, we mentioned this on the briefing earlier when I was on with Johnny. And the issue of Kevin Nisbet came up. That's because Craig Moore, Big Oz, has been speaking about Nisbet on the Go Radio football show, and he was asked whether Nisbet is a forward that Rangers should be looking at. Now, he's currently on loan at Aberdeen from Millwall. He scored Aberdeen's his 13th goal of the season at the weekend against Hibs, netted the winner. He's also provided 5 assists during his 33 appearances at Pittodrie. Moore said, I think he's 28. There is talk of potentially Aberdeen not being able to afford him from Millwall, or money might be an issue. Again, I think it would be a good fit for Rangers if they are looking, which I am sure they are, looking at every single position. He took his goal brilliantly at the weekend. He's coming back on himself and his anticipation in terms of just to sometimes stand still, but to come back and volley finish it the way he did. Former Celtic striker Andy Walker also put his tuppence worth in on Nisbet. He said, I think Rangers do need someone who knows the Scottish game and can score against Scottish opponents. That is something that has been a problem this season. Rangers have drawn and lost too many games. Forget about the Celtic games. They seem to get up for that. Someone who can score regularly. And I know we spoke about it before with Lawrence Shankland, but there was someone who could score regularly on the Scottish scene. Rangers always talk about what they need for Europe or the strongest opposition. Someone who's already got that, Kevin Nisbet, he can score against Scottish opposition, as could Lawrence Shankland. Maybe that boat has sailed now. It is always an interesting one when you see these names linked. They seem to be dismissed just because they are Scottish players. And Moore also said, I still think the Shankland one was a missed trick going back a year. Again, as I touched on when I was on with Johnny, we did touch on Nisbet and also Lawrence Shankland. Johnny would like to see Rangers go and get him in the summer. He would be on a freebie. Lawrence Shankland, his contract at Hearts runs out, of course, at the end of the campaign. If you had to choose, folks, Nisbet or Shankland, who would you prefer? Please let us know on that one. Moving on to other news, and Alan Hutton has been speaking on the Premier Sports Scottish football podcast, and he was asked which Rangers player or Rangers players of the current squad deserve to remain at the club for next season. Hutton said Václav Černý, whether Rangers can get a deal sorted for Václav remains to be seen. But Hutton said, if you brought in better players to play around about these guys, I think you could get better out of them. Czerny, if they can keep hold of him, has been a standout for most of the season. Raskin has come on to a real good game. Diamandi possibly suited at the back. I think the back needs a lot of work. Butland, I presume, if he gets back to the form that we've seen. But out with that, I'm struggling to be quite honest with you. And he also spoke about Cyril Dessers. He says Dessers' numbers are good, don't get me wrong. But the problem is everything else that goes along with that. I think they could be much better. So I think they need more players up the top end of the pitch. And he also pointed to some potential departures in the coming months. He says people like Bayrami, Cortez, Lawrence, all these guys will leave. Not too sure about Cortez. Of course, Rangers do have that obligation to buy on him. But yeah, certainly Bayrami, I'd be looking to move on. It's not quite worked for Nadim Bayrami. Tom Lawrence will be coming to the end of his deal. I fully expect him to move on as well. So that is what Alan Hutton had to say. And Chris Boyd has also been speaking, and he's spoken out about his disbelief at seeing Celtic overtaking Rangers in terms of major honours. And yeah, Celtic winning the league at the weekend. That's their 13th title in 14 seasons. 55 titles for them. It's just incredible. Rangers have allowed this to happen. But Boyd has been speaking at his charity golf day. And he said, first of all, congratulations to Celtic. I think once again, they've been the outstanding team in Scotland. That consistency that Brendan Rodgers seems to find from his team is unmatched. And he said, from a Rangers point of view, there's obviously going to be a takeover happening anytime soon. But the harsh reality is Rangers are falling further and further behind Celtic. When you go back a few years ago in terms of that trophy count, it was virtually impossible to think, if you go back to my time at the football club, that Celtic were going to get anywhere near it. And he said, people will say since Rangers went down the league, but Celtic have actually won more trophies since Rangers have come back to the top flight than they did when they were away. He said there's an overhaul needed again in the summer, but that can't continue to happen every single season. So, yeah, can't disagree with Boydie on that one. Said it many times before on videos. That is on the Rangers hierarchy. To allow Celtic to not only go level with Rangers, but to surpass them is a real damning indictment of their time in charge of the football club. And as Boydie says, it's all materialised since Rangers have been back in the top flight. So fair enough if they were acquiring the trophies when Rangers were coming back through the leagues, but that has not been the case. Now, just a heads up, tomorrow, of course, we'll be back on as ever, 9:30. Yeah, we'll continue to look ahead to that final Old Firm game of the season. Yeah, so that is some of the Rangers news doing the rounds today, folks. And if there's anything that breaks, keep your eyes peeled on the website, on the YouTube channel. Make sure you have a subscriber as well. You'll not miss a thing with regards to all things Rangers. Right, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, and we'll speak to you later on. Bye for now.